Hi everybody, thanks for stopping by to check out the latest from Sailing Emerald Steel. So in this video we're going to be continuing on with one of our projects that we needed to get finished before we go on an extended cruise. And in this video we're going to be showing you how we replaced our hydraulic steering ram with a larger size unit. Before we get started though, I'd like to once again thank all of you for all your comments and thumbs up on our last video. We really appreciate hearing from you guys. Thank you.
Every boat has a weather helm. That means that if a wind picks up, your boat will be rounding into the wind. But gaff rig has a much more of the weather helm than a Marconi rig, due to the fact that the Marconi rig has a triangle sail and a gaff rig has a square sail. So as you are putting a reefs in, you're putting a center of effort more forward in a Marconi rig, while in the gaff rig sail is square, so really you're lowering the sail instead of going more forward. So it's the same on our boat. She has a lot of weather helm and a strong blows. When the time came to decide what kind of steering we want in the boat, there were really two choices. One was the cable steering and one was hydraulic. So cable steering worked out to be more money. How much more money? More money. We were really short on the cash, so we had to really go as cheap as possible. So we decided on a hydraulic unit, and there was a different size of units, so we picked up one which was really a minimum.
Just at the very limit,
yeah,
pretty much.
the minimum for our boat, and it worked very, very well. Right. But as later on we found out, in a really strong blows and a gale near storm conditions, there was a times when our steering was getting overpowered.
Right.
It was okay, but then there came time where actually after many years we developed some leak in our ram, and after replacing O-rings a couple of times, we still were not able to stop totally the leak, and we decided to go for a larger ram. So now we have not only a new ram which does a leak, but also one which is 50% stronger.
I would say probably one of the main drawbacks people question us about when you have hydraulic steering is that it doesn't have any kind of feedback from the rudder, so we don't really notice anything negative about that. It's a lot easier to steer and you don't get so tired out. But did you notice anything negative about it?
Otherwise works very well, and after 30-some years I would not change it. We are very satisfied with it.
Another important thing when you have a hydraulic steering system like we do is to carry a bicycle pump with you. We've actually heard of a case where people had to have the Coast Guard drop them a bicycle pump to pressurize their steering system because they lost their steering and had no way to repressurize the system. So it's important to have a good quality bicycle pump with you. Usually we let Emerald Steel steer on her own by balancing the sails, but here, as you can see, when the wind is strong and gusting, it creates a lot of weather helm, and because our hydraulic steering system is undersized and has a leak, Jules has to compensate for the weather helm effect by turning the wheel to port as she tries to round up into the wind to starboard. We noticed that our hydraulic steering system had gotten weaker and was easily overpowered. It was high time to think about replacing it for a larger unit.
Fine summer gale. So here is our old ram. It's almost 35 years old. It's for a hydraulic steering. It's a high nodding. We developed a leak, and although we replaced the seals on it twice, it's always we had a problem. So I guess maybe a shaft on that ram, which is this part here, must be a scratch or something, because it does not hold the pressure. So in 10 years time was developing a more and more leak, and from the beginning only we had to do is pump some air because it's pressurized, and then very seldom add some oil, but it's got to the point where it become a nuisance. And also we found out when it was a severe conditions, large waves, strong winds, then the hydraulic steering was getting slightly overpowered. So now we decide to replace this one, high nodding, but like everything else, it's 30-some years old. High nodding is out of business. Luckily we found a company called Capilano who make a replacement for it. And after talking to one of their engineers, he told me that I can order a ram 50% larger, and I would not have to replace nothing. Only thing what would be different is that right now a lock-to-lock steering takes 4 turns and would be 50% more. That means it would be 6 turns a lock-to-lock. So that's not really a problem because it's a tight turns, so it would be working much better, plus would have a 50% stronger torque. So here's my new ram. Like I say, is name of it is Capilano. It's nice bronze with a stainless steel shaft, and like I say, it's a 50% stronger, bigger cubic inches. Only thing I had to do is because the fittings here, the original fittings, give you some idea. For a new one, I had to change the hoses and actually also the fittings. And here is my part of a new system. It's existing relief valve. You have to have it when you use autopilot with your hydraulic steering. You have to have a relief valve. So I had to replace 3/8 of a fitting with a 1/2-inch one and install a new hoses. So these hoses are made to go into these fittings. So up to this point everything existing, and from this point I had to enlarge it and to make the system work.
So the hydraulic steering system consists of the Helm unit, which is located inside our binnacle, right behind this, right here. You can remove it. It's not very interesting to see, it's just a little square box, but the Helm is there. From the Helm we ran a copper line to the reservoir, which holds the hydraulic fluid and is pressurized. The pressure gauge shows the steering pressure, and it's important to check it periodically because if the pressure goes down, then it means you have a leak in your system. At the point where you want to install your hydraulic pump for your autopilot, you cut into the lines and install a T-fitting with shutoff valves. The shutoff valves are very important because if you should develop a leak in the autopilot pump, you'll be able to shut off the valves and still have a functioning steering system. Make sure you purchase good quality, high pressure valves. From the valves, we continue with a 1/4-inch copper line to the relief bypass valve, which is factory set at 950 psi. Here you also bleed the system, and from the relief valve, high pressure hoses go to the steering ram unit. Because the new ram is slightly larger than our old unit, we had to drill new mounting holes for it.
Here is a rudder post. From back, it's a hydraulic ram which control our steering, and the front part of it we install a fitting where you install a removable hunk of oak for emergency tiller. Now the hedge is right above it, so in a nice weather you can open a hedge and stand up in it to be watching as you're steering. In the bad weather you can be down here and steer by the GPS. So
but we've never lost our steering before, luckily, so.
Yeah, we never lost our steering, but it's nice. Every boat, a cruising boat, should have an emergency steering to do it. And then we have ropes here which can get tied into position, and we can also install blocks so you can have an easier steering. But that's how it works. And this here is removable.
Okay guys, so I guess that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed the video and found it helpful. If you did, don't forget to leave a comment and a thumb up. And of course, we'd like to once again thank all of our Patreons and people that support us through PayPal. We really appreciate your support, and we will see you all next time. Thanks for stopping by, guys.
Bye-bye.